to ask Mrs. Wesco. Any here? One? Well, I guess I have one. How did the children do getting back home? How did you deal with them when Dad wasn't coming?
Want me just to talk?
Well, I guess we'll come up here.
Okay. All right.
Should have just left you up here.
Oh.
No, I'm very happy to sit down. No, the kids struggled, okay? Their reality was their dad left one morning and, you know, it was over 24 hours and then Mom comes back looking like what I looked like after holding my husband's body. And where's Dad? What happened? And within 20 minutes, you know, taking their backpack, they'd stuffed a few things into, getting on a bus, leaving everything, you know, it was rough. They went through multiple forms of trauma. And the Lord was so good, as I'm sure there was people here that sacrificed for us, but God provided, God met their needs. And they're getting to experience, we talk about this, they're getting to experience the beauty of the faithfulness God promises to the fatherless. And down to where we've learned to pray as a family in ways that we didn't pray before. And not because we didn't pray, not because we didn't seek the Lord before, but it's different now. There's not a dad to go to. And so we go and talk to God about things that are little. And guess what? God cares about the little things. And they're getting to see God do amazing things. They're getting to see God answer prayers and provide in ways that Mom can't. And do I have kids that struggle? Yes, I have some little ones that really struggle. As far as joy, my kids are awesome. We have lots of fun together. We're at the point, God has healed them to the point where they can sit around and talk about Dad and laugh now and remember all the good memories, and talking about Dad isn't a painful thing anymore. Do they like to talk about him dying? No, most of the time that is not a subject we discuss, and that's okay. You know, but God has a story for each of them. He has a plan for their lives, and they're doing very well. Overall, I would say, you know, they're kids, okay, and now I'm going to that male semi-adult stage with all these boys, and I'm like, oh Lord help me. But it's a good stage. It's fun, and I'm learning to communicate with multiple different boy personalities, but they're seeing God. My oldest just got his first car, and if you've looked into the used car market right now, it is a nightmare. And we had 4 cars fall through, and at first I was like, oh boy, this is not going to go over well. And my son, the Lord, I was like, God's healed him a lot. It just was kind of like, okay, that wasn't God's will. And then boom, within 24 hours, God led us to the right car. It was this insane deal. And he has the perfect car that God had for him. And for him, that was a way the Lord showed himself strong for Daniel. And that was such a blessing. And it's that way with all the kids. So where we are now, yes, they struggle. I have some that I would say have PTSD. But guess what? We all know we're broken messes, and we just help each other, and it's beautiful. So, anybody else?
Stephanie, can you tell us your children's names and ages?
Sure. Yes. So I did bring prayer cards, and you're welcome to. I have more too if there's not enough. But my oldest is Daniel, and he is finishing up his sophomore year of high school. And Lord willing, he is planning to go to PCC once he's done with high school. So he's 16 and a half, and then Charles is my second. He is 15. Joseph is the comedian. He will be 14 next month. And those 3, anyone that was here before, you know, they were all these little boys. Well, they're all now 6 foot and taller than 6 foot. So I look up to all of them now. And then Hudson Taylor, he is 12. And that poor kid in between stage where he's not a little boy, but he's not a big boy yet, but he's taller than me too. And then Stephanie, my oldest daughter, is 11, and she's my height. We can share clothes. That's a little weird. And then Samuel comes after her. Samuel is 9, and he's my little scientist. And if any of you listen to Odyssey and know who Eugene Meltzner is, that is my Samuel. He will give you facts that you did not need to know, but that's just what he loves to do. And then Caleb is my reptile man. We call him Keptile. And if you have frogs or snakes, he will be your best friend. He is 8. And then Emmy is my baby, and she is 5, and she is a hoot. She speaks her mind, and she's a one. So that's their ages.
Any more questions? Mrs. Wesco, would you like to tell us a bit about your books?
You had said before you left that you were having like the physical
Yes.
things. When you did they go away, and then did you have them come back after? I mean, like, because when you have more trauma added on,
Yes.
prior, this was like just accumulating mountain kind
Yes.
of thing.
Physically, I take life day by day. When I set this up, I was kind of like, okay, God, my health did crash in January again of this year, and so I'm kind of in a position now where I am learning to trust the Lord for each day, and then thankfully I didn't have anything scheduled January, February, March. It picks up now again for multiple months. And so, no, physically, I call it my thorn in the flesh, but no, my adrenals currently have been very rocky. So, no, it's not, and I found out shortly after Charles was killed that I have liver tumors. And so, that's just kind of, I kind of live in that zone of knowing there's tumors in there that are doing their own thing, and I'm just praying they stay benign. And so, no, physically, it's just a day-by-day thing, but God's still good, so I just trust Him for that.
Before I turn around and then someone says, wait.
Can you tell us about your ministry now?
Yes.
I know about it, but probably should tell me.
Yes. So I work with a ministry called Wounded Spirits Ministries, and the director of the ministry was a sergeant major in the military for 25 years, and so we work with PTSD victims, so people who have been through trauma, a lot of abuse victims, and that's what I do as far as, that's my ministry now, is working with people who have been through horrific things in life. And quite honestly, my flesh hates it, because now I get to take on other people's problems, and that's hard because I tend to internalize them, and so God's having to teach me more and more to throw those burdens more onto Him so that I'm not taking all of that. But we work with a lot of military. I work with the women, so a lot of ladies, that was actually who just called as a lady I'm working with. Actually, I'm in the process of moving someone to my area that needs more care. Lord willing, we're hoping to start a retreat center where people can come that need more long-term help. There's people that need just a new start. There's some traumas that leave you just in a place where you need a brand new start. Or you need a place, in a sense, to hide. Where you're not feeling like you're in a fishbowl, where you can just get away and have a place to heal. But that's our ministry, is working with people that are broken. And it's weird because, quite honestly, now I feel way more comfortable with broken people than people that appear to be pulled together. Not that that makes any sense at all, but when you're with other people that are broken, you can just all sit around and compare notes of what God's done in your life, and that can be kind of cool. So, but that's our ministry now, and I do travel with the kids when they can, when they're not too busy in school. So.
Okay. You want to tell us a little bit about your book?
Sure. So this is the story of my late husband and I leading up to his death, and then kind of what God did following his death in my heart and life. I finished at the end of 2019. So this was written fairly fresh after it took me 6 weeks to write the chapter about October 30th, because I would start to write and then I'd go into flashbacks, and it would be 3 days before I could bring myself to write again. And thankfully I'm not that raw anymore, but that's what this book is, just kind of our lives leading up separately to marriage, and then all the way up until the end of 2019. So, and then this book was written by our director of Wounded Spirits, and it just deals, it's called Wounded Spirits, A Biblical Approach to Dealing with the Effects of Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder. And so it covers a lot of basic things that are involved in PTSD, Bible on suicide, the Bible on fear and anxiety, guilt, survivor's guilt, which are very real things. If you've survived trauma, you know that survivor's guilt is a very real thing where Satan takes all of the what ifs and the could haves and the should haves and uses them to create an arsenal of weaponry against you. Anger, irritability, nightmares, flashbacks, and the main thrust of this book is scripture. And so if you're looking for scripture to help you on a specific topic, that's what that's here for. And then we have 2 CDs that our family sings together. This one was done the end of 2019. Then we just did this last one last summer. But something the Lord did in the process of healing was gave songs in the night, is what I like to call them. So a lot of these are songs. Doug Carriger was my PTSD counselor. Now we're best friends and co-workers. He's my boss. His wife's always like, tell him no. Because he likes to call me and give me assignments, and I'm like, Doug, I'm not in the military. But anyways, he wrote a lot of lyrics, and then I would revise and edit and all that, and then write the music. So a lot of these are songs we wrote, and then some of them are just other songs that have become precious to us as a family. So anyway, that's what those are, is our family singing.
Okay. Any more questions? Alrighty, ladies. Well, if you're interested in getting any of these books, they will be right